Hey everyone, and welcome as we continue our study through the New Testament Gospels, looking at the 250 events in the life of Jesus. And today we are looking at the Last Supper, or Jesus telling his disciples to prepare for the Last Supper. And so, yesterday we looked at Judas agreeing to betray Jesus, and today's honestly just the last couple have just been a few short verses, and this one's going to be a short video today, so we won't go too deep in anything with this one, but we see here this takes place in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Matthew 26, Mark 14, and Luke 22. Got the verses there up on the screen. And, this is basically Jesus getting his disciples prepared to get ready for the Last Supper. And so, starting with Matthew 26, verse 17 through 19. On the first day of the festival of the unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Where do you want us to prepare the Passover meal for you?" He says, "As you go into the city, you will see a certain man. We don't know. Tell him, the teacher says, my time must come, and I will eat at the Passover meal with my disciples at your house." So the disciples did as they were told and prepared the Passover meal there. And so they went and met, and that's basically what they did. Jesus told them to go and find that you're going to meet this guy. Tell him we're going to eat at your house, and we're going to go from there. And so the Passover, right? The Passover took place one night and at one meal is the way we say. And this is celebrate the Passover, the passing over the angel from the Exodus story. But the festival of unleavened bread, which was celebrated with it, continued for it was a whole week. But the Passover meal was just that one particular night. The people removed all yeast from their homes and to do this, and it commemorates their ancestors going from the Exodus from Egypt, like I just said. So when they had to do this, they didn't have the time for the bread and the dough to rise, and so this is why they did that. Thousands of people would pour into Jerusalem from all over the Roman Empire for this festival because had to come in, and a lot of them would celebrate it there in Jerusalem. The two men that Jesus sent were Peter and John. Well, we know that from Luke. That was Peter and John who went to get this, and so this is kind of the start, right? We've seen the last few weeks. This is a transition piece, right? We've seen the last few weeks or the last few days the confrontation between Jesus and the Pharisees and the religious leaders as he came into Jerusalem. He was celebrated, and now we see the tension starting to grow between him and the Pharisees and the religious leaders. He calls them out on a lot of their stuff, just berates them for who they were. And then we see Judas agreeing to betray him. And so now we're going to see, now this is a transition piece where Jesus knows it's coming to the last little bit of his life before he's crucified. And so he starts to really teach and dive deeper into teaching and really preaching to them for almost an entire evening of lessons and things they need to make sure they do and who they're to be. And John really records a lot of this. And we see from like John 13 on that it's just really a lot of the details of Jesus's last evening or last day or so, and he just goes deep into a lot of the teachings that Jesus gave, so we're going to go through a lot of those, and they're really important for us, especially as his followers, to look at these and see, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to be looking at here, and so, like I said, this is that transition from finally going into the last little bit. Like Jesus knows he's going to the cross. He's wanting to get his people ready. He wants to get his disciples and his followers ready for this, so that whenever he's gone, that they have stuff to remember and follow and go by. And so we need to make sure that we pay extra close attention to these teachings before, as followers of Christ, and see how important they were. Not to say that the ones before then aren't important, because they are. They're very important. But these are really some of the more fundamental core things of Christianity that we need to follow and look at. So again, like I said, this was a short one. I appreciate everyone for watching these, following along with these. If they're helpful, share them. This is how we can get this message out and help maybe someone else who's wanting to study the Gospels or look at them in a certain different way. That's what we're trying to do here. So definitely follow them in order. As always, I appreciate everyone for watching. And if you hadn't subscribed to our channel, subscribe, because that's how you get alerts that when we post videos, and you'll be able to follow along as we go through some of our other studies and look at some of our other studies. Like I always say, I really appreciate everyone for watching.